Just as we get a brand new game which allows us to take our Pokemon from Pokemon Go into the main series game coming out this week, we also get this. The trailer for a live-action Pokemon movie, Detective Pikachu. Hey Pokemon Masters, Keeper Toby here, and I just gotta go ahead and break this down. I just saw the trailer, I was not expecting this. Many of you who watch my videos regularly will know that I am a big fan of real-life Pokemon. I have tried to emulate real-life Pokemon, but I have never made it look this good. Right now, we're in the middle of Kanto Week, or actually we're just starting Kanto Week. There's gonna be a new video every single day this week in relation to Let's Go, celebrating the Kanto region of Pokemon. So if you're a Pokemon fan, or maybe if you're finding me for the first time, make sure to hit subscribe. I am pretty sure I'm gonna be covering this movie as it's coming out, and that's so interesting. Because the Detective Pikachu movie looks nothing like the Detective Pikachu game. This is a game that came out last year or the year before, I think, and I personally was not a massive fan of that. The art style, the way that it played. This is something else. I'm just gonna go through and break down absolutely everything that I can see, everything of interest, anything that might be interested to you, long-term Pokemon fans. There is a lot here. So first of all, we get this wonderful shot of Rhyme City. This is the city where, I don't even know if this is in the Detective Pikachu game. I'm sure there is a lot of inspiration from that game. But this location is our kind of hub, big metropolitan area in the Pokemon world. It looks like this might be a little bit later on in the film, where people and Pokemon are living in complete harmony, and there are just so many beautiful looking live action Pokemon around here. In the foreground, we see things like Dodrio, we see things like Charmander running across screen. But in the background, we can see Pidgey and Spearow, Flabébé and Comfey, as well as a lot of Pokemon-themed establishments sitting around the city. For example, we've got something with a Wooper here, a Daydream Wooper. I'm not sure what that is. Daydream, maybe it could be a daycare, could be a restaurant, not sure. There's Swirlix, which is very likely a food place serving cotton candy. There is something with a Victini on it, which is very interesting because Victini is a mythical Pokemon. I don't know how many people know about Victini or mythical and legendary Pokemon in this world. And there's so many other little detailed other Pokemon around the place. And two Pokemon of particular interest in this shot are Bufalon and Braviary. Braviary in particular being associated highly with America, so maybe this is a more Americanized version of a Pokemon region as opposed to maybe what we would expect, which would be a Japanese Pokemon world. Although then again, lots of what looks like symbols, Japanese writing around the place. Kind of like San Fran, Tokyo from Big Hero 6, a city that is kind of half San Francisco, half Tokyo. You see that blending of culture, and that seems to be what's going on here. We get a shot of another character, and it looks like they're setting up a parade in the background. That's not a giant Jigglypuff, that is a Jigglypuff balloon, although Jigglypuff is the balloon Pokemon, so that makes sense. As well as a really gorgeous rendering of Psyduck. Of course, a female redhead lead with a Psyduck reminds us of... And behind her are a bunch of guys in Squirtle uniform. I wonder if they're supposed to be firefighters and if this is a reference to the Squirtle Squad. You can also see on the dash of her car is a little bobblehead of what appears to be a Spoink, it looks like to me. And that's just really funny because Spoink is constantly bouncing up and down, and it is exactly the kind of thing that you would find if you lived in the Pokemon world. Oh, we get that beautiful little jingle, the dun dun dun. And of course, this is being produced by Warner Bros. Legendary Pictures and the Pokemon Company. I hope, if there's any way, guys, Legendary, Warner Bros., Pokemon Company, if there's any way I can be involved in the promotions of this film or anything, hit me up. This is cool. We move away from the Pokemon elements a little bit and see a little bit and learn a little bit about Tim being played by Justice Smith, who I only really know from the Jurassic World movie. Really cool guy though. He seems to be the focal point of this film, and it appears that his dad, who was a police officer, a detective, has gone missing, and we of course see another character who works at the precinct saying, hey, your dad is a legend, and he goes, oh, I'm nothing like my dad. I am not him. Seems like the guy is in a little bit of a rut. And now we get one of the coolest shots ever. The audio is saying that this guy used to want to be a Pokemon trainer, for some reason is not a Pokemon trainer. So Pokemon trainers exist in this version of the Pokemon world. And on his wall, there are so many cool posters depicting different fights that potentially he's been to. You see this incredible Rayquaza, which again, a legendary Pokemon just being advertised. Articuno versus Steelix. Dragonite versus Hypno. The way that the posters are designed here appear to show Pokemon matches being more like 1v1 kind of things. Big sports matches kind of like boxing, but what really amazes me here, there's a picture of a Charizard and it says that it's in the Cerulean Arena. Cerulean City, of course, a place in the Kanto region, Johto being the Johto region. There's a shot in a moment that depicts the Sinnoh, by the looks of the Roman numerals, the 2015 championships in Sinnoh. This means that this town and this world is linked in with the other regions of the Pokemon world. Meaning, if we see a future Pokemon movie, we could see a future Pokemon movie in this style with a real Pokemon set in the real Pokemon world, in Kanto, in Johto, in Sinnoh. For now, they're just trying on this specific story before, I think, revisiting any of those areas. I hope this film becomes a success, because it's no secret that I haven't been a massive fan of the Pokemon movies so far. A lot of the animated ones just don't do it for me anymore. I'm much older, and this film is clearly aimed at a slightly older audience. It's certainly not like Deadpool mature like levels of thing, but it's definitely aimed at, I think, an older demographic. And of course, it's interesting that I mentioned Deadpool because Tim enters his study or his dad's study and finds Pikachu. He's looking at a ticket, by the way, to Rhyme City, which is, I assume, where the first shot will be placed in the film after this scene. After he meets Detective Pikachu, voiced of course by Ryan Reynolds, aka Deadpool, a strong casting decision that I very much approve of. Ryan Reynolds is perfect here because he's not taking himself, or the movie is not taking itself too seriously. I think going for a real life Pokemon movie, Pokemon, I guess, is a little bit kind of on the nose and over the top, and the way the fights, the consistent logic of the world is a little bit messed up. If you've ever read Pokedex entries, you'll know it's a bit ridiculous. So I think taking it in a comical direction really works here, and Ryan Reynolds just brings that home. Of course, for a moment there, I thought Tim was holding a gun. He's not, he's holding a stapler. And this is what I mean. It's like not mature, real gritty, real serious Pokemon. It's just kind of like funny, real world Pokemon. This is how we'd interact. And I love that they're taking this comedic angle to it. We see some more outside shots, including some other Pokemon, including a Mulga. And what's really interesting here is a Mulga is like huge in comparison to the people of the Pokemon world. It seems to be much bigger than Pikachu. We actually see Pikachu walking past a chef that is using Charmander's tail to heat up his pan with his food while he's doing his cooking. And I love that they kept the Pika Pika noise that is still like the classic Pikachu noise that you would hear in the show or in the games. Again, I really think that it helps bring out this kind of zany world that they're creating. Ooh, in the far background, actually, I've just noticed in the far background of one of these shots, there is actually an unknown, it looks like to be an unknown H, as the symbol of a restaurant or a bar or some kind of industry thing. Oh, and actually there's another unknown in the very far background on the right. There's an unknown K. So I wonder if we're going to see more of these unknown letters throughout the film. Maybe they'll end up spelling something. Clues to the next Pokemon game, but again, it's nice to see them included and make the Pokemon world feel immersive. Again, though, we've got more legendary Pokemon. Back in Tim's room, there is actually a poster of Reshiram and Zekrom having some kind of a fight. Now, whether that's supposed to be just a depiction or an actual match that happened in the Pokemon world, I think this film is definitely changing the way I'm thinking about how legendary Pokemon are perceived in the world of Pokemon. We see there's some kind of falling out in between the characters, which is expected. You know, these two are unlikely friends. That's the idea. We see explosions happening. What? Is this a Pokemon film still? There's a missing poster for a Squirtle and a Pancham. I'm trying to do my best to kind of zoom in and read all the other notices at the police precinct. Certainly, there's got to be some other little clues about the world of Pokemon in there. At the moment, all I can sort of make out is a notice about a meeting and a notice about some cleaning that needs to be carried out. We've got some Bulbasaur and some Maruli, which is some of the, it's nice to see the blend of like the new and the old Pokemon. And it looks like Pikachu's actually been injured at this part of the film. Tim is carrying Pikachu in his arms. It looks like they've maybe been through something quite traumatic. Maybe we're looking for some peaceful area where a Pokemon might be able to help heal Pikachu up. The next shot I love. On the wall, there is a fighting match between Primeape and Machamp being advertised, but also this fella here has clearly come in for his espresso to get some caffeine to wake up, and Jigglypuff's singing has sent the poor guy to sleep, as Jigglypuff does, and Jigglypuff looks great. But the next sequence, the next scene that we see is where it really kicks off. We actually get to see one of these cage fights involving a Charizard. And the Charizard looks phenomenal. It's breathing fire. I want to live in this world. I want to see these matches. I want to train these Pokemon. We see some Greninja that are chasing after the gang. There's actually in the next shot, we're back at the cage fight and we see Tim and Pikachu and they're watching the match and there's a Squirtle. Oh, there's actually a Squirtle and a Pancham in this shot. Now in the earlier shot, of course, they are missing. Whether it's the same Squirtle and Pancham, I don't know. And Rufflet is just sitting on the side, on the table, also watching the fight with all these other Pokemon. We see the character with the Psyduck and of course Tim and the Pikachu traveling together in the car which I assume has the Spoink bobblehead in it. They're going somewhere, they've been brought together. Magic has brought them together, according to Ryan Reynolds. In this sequence, we can see Tim's shirt a little bit more clearly. We see an unknown letter, which is an O. So thus far we've got a H-O-K, Hock, Koh. Huh, more letters needed, I think. And we see our heroes under threat of what seems to be the world folding in on itself in an Inception-like style. Possibly the ground is exploding open, maybe one of our various legendary Pokemon, Regigigas, Groudon, Heatran is doing something, maybe it's a psychic Pokemon using incredible powers to mess with them. Certainly they're under threat of something powerful. And then we get this beautiful scene between Pikachu, Tim, and Mr. Mime. Mr. Mime has seen something and he tells them to go and shove off and he's miming it like charades. This is such a good use. Yes, Poke. I'm sorry I'm getting so excited. This is not an analysis video I was expecting to make. I wasn't expecting to like this film or see the trailer and go, oh my goodness, this is great. But this is Pokemon in real life. This is what I've always wanted. My problem is that I push people away and I hate them for leaving, says Pikachu. I mean, yeah, it's definitely slightly more aimed at the older audience. People who've been saying, oh no, Pokemon is just aimed at kids. It looks like they are beginning to make those efforts to really reach out to the older demographic, which I'm a fan of. Mr. Mime telling him he can shove it. Yes, okay, the humor of him getting hit by a mime wall is kind of slapstick. It's definitely that middle zone. I think it's supposed to appeal to both kids who love the franchise and still be a family-friendly franchise, while at the same time appealing to the older demographic. We see the gang getting chased by Greninja. It's possibly after this scene that Pikachu gets injured and is being carried by Tim. It's possibly after this that this Greninja trio seems to be chasing them down. A few more quick little action shots, finally followed by Charizard about to literally bite into Pikachu. Maybe this is the scene actually where Pikachu gets hurt. And oh my goodness, the Charizard with its teeth, it looks amazing. As the Charizard gets closer, you can really see its scales. You can see the detail. It looks incredible. So this film should be coming out in May next year, and I am absolutely going to be watching it. You've got to let me know what you think about this trailer in the comments below. Let me know if there's anything I spotted that you didn't notice. Let me know if there's anything I didn't notice that you spotted. That's what I'd love to hear and read about. I actually feel like I now have to go and play the Detective Pikachu game, although from what I played, they seem to be very, very different. Like, I don't think it's going to be necessary that you've played the game to watch the film. I think they're going to be separate entities. But certainly I might be able to learn a little bit about more about the lore and bring that to you in future videos. For now, it is Kanto week. There's a new video every single day about Let's Go, Pikachu, and Eevee, and the Kanto region. So that's all coming up in lead up to Friday when the games are released. So if you are new here, if this is your first time finding me, please be sure to hit the subscribe button. If you are a regular, this is an extra bonus video in the week when there was more videos than typical. And yeah, let me know what you're thinking about this movie. I personally think it looks amazing. So hi, Pokemon Masters. A massive shout out goes to my incredible patrons, many of who you can see the name of on screen now. Most of all to the big patrons of the month, Yoni, Sobin, and Xavius. If you want to find out how you can support the channel, please check out the links to Patreon in the description below and get some of those sweet, sweet perks. Thank you.